No matter how you cut it, your hair needs Vidal Sassoon. Shampoo to cleanse. Protein remoisturizer to condition. Finishing rinse to seal and protect. 3 simple steps to keep your hair shining, manageable, healthy looking. No matter how you cut it. Because if you don't...
We interrupt our programming. This is a national emergency. Important instructions will follow. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast stations and cable systems shall transmit this emergency action notification message number 1, white card. This station has interrupted its regular programming at the request of the United States government to participate in the emergency broadcast system. During this national emergency, some stations will remain on the air to furnish news and official information for the general public in assigned areas. This is WNBC. We will continue to serve the New York City area. If you are not in this local area, you should tune to stations providing information for your area. Do not use the telephone. Telephone lines should be kept open for emergency use. The emergency broadcast system has been activated to keep you informed. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast stations and cable systems shall transmit this emergency action notification message number 1, white card. This station has interrupted its regular programming at the request of the United States government to participate in the emergency broadcast system. During this national emergency, some stations will remain on the air to furnish news and official information for the general public in assigned areas. This is WNBC. We will continue to serve the New York City area. If you are not in this local area, you should tune to stations providing information for your area. Do not use the telephone. Telephone lines should be kept open for emergency use. The emergency broadcast system has been activated to keep you informed.
Hello, my fellow Americans. President Ronald Reagan has authorized me to speak on his behalf, as he is currently at an undisclosed location. Tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union have reached a critical and dangerous point. Earlier this week, Soviet forces initiated a direct and unprovoked invasion of West Germany, violating international peace agreements and putting all of Europe at immediate risk. NATO forces have engaged the enemy with determination and courage. However, despite their efforts, the situation on the ground remains fluid and highly volatile. As of this hour, the United States and her NATO allies have issued a formal ultimatum to the leadership of the Soviet Union. Cease all offensive operations immediately. Withdraw all forces to their original positions or face severe consequences. This ultimatum is clear. It is final and has been delivered. If this aggression continues, the United States is prepared to authorize the deployment of tactical nuclear weapons, including the use of Pershing II ballistic missile systems against designated Warsaw Pact military targets. Let there be no misunderstanding. This is not a decision we wish to make. Every diplomatic channel remains open, and we continue to seek a peaceful resolution to this crisis. I understand that many of you have loved ones currently deployed in Europe. We know. We are very grateful for them, and we are doing everything we can to bring them home safely without facing the horrors of nuclear bombardment. But we will not allow Europe to fall under communist control. The United States remains resolute to its commitment to our allies, and we would take whatever actions necessary to defend them. We ask all citizens to remain calm, stay alert, and continue monitoring your radios and televisions for official instructions. Additional broadcasts will be issued as the situation develops. This is all I am authorized to say at this time. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our troops. And God bless the United States of America and her allies.
This concludes operations under the emergency broadcast system. All broadcast stations and cable systems may now resume regular programming. This concludes operations under the emergency broadcast system.
Wendy's hot stuffed baked potatoes. Delicious baked potatoes stuffed 5 ways.
We interrupt our regular programming due to a statewide emergency. Please stand by. Attention, Alaskan residents. This is not a test. This is an official message from the Alaska Air National Guard. A civil danger warning is now in effect. Incoming Russian backfire bombers have been detected. Bombings have been confirmed. These are not nuclear in nature. Probable target, clear Air Force Base. A small invading force has been confirmed landing at the docks of Anchorage. Seek shelter immediately. If you are outdoors, go indoors now. If you are driving, evacuate the area safely and seek shelter as soon as possible. If you hear knocking at your door, do not answer unless you can confirm the identity of the individual. Do not attempt to engage Russian forces. They are trained and armed. You will risk your life. All nearby National Guard units, you have been activated. Report to your commanding officer immediately. Any non-active military personnel able to assist are asked to report to the nearest Air National Guard facility. This is an all-hands-on-deck emergency. Please stay tuned to this station for additional instructions and updates.
WNBC 4, reporting live on the escalating conflict. To recap, President Reagan, to our collective shock, has authorized the use of tactical nuclear weapons in East Germany. Keeping his promise from his presidential emergency broadcast, he has ordered the launch of 3 perishing 2 missiles. The cities struck were Leipzig, Dresden, and Magdeburg. In response, the Soviet Union has retaliated, striking 2 West German cities, Stuttgart and Hanover, and outside of Germany, they've targeted London. There are currently no reports indicating that any members of Parliament have survived. In the wake of these strikes, UK military forces have been assumed under NATO command. With fears the British government has collapsed, reports indicate that UK emergency powers have been activated, transferring authority to local governments across the country. We're now receiving breaking news. The United States, in coordination with NATO, has launched a submarine-launched ballistic missile targeting Kaliningrad. While the exact reasoning is unconfirmed, experts speculate this was an attempt to eliminate a major Soviet submarine base in the region. NORAD has issued a statement that while the Stradefny defense system is currently operating only at 30% capacity, it remains on high alert. Radar networks across the continent are monitoring for any signs of further missile activity. Back home, the fight in Alaska has come to a frightening stalemate. To recap, 5 minutes after the national presidential statement, a small Soviet invasion force landed in Anchorage. Soviet backfire bombers flew overhead, dropping bombs, which we stress were not nuclear in nature. Their probable target was likely Siren Air Force Base before being intercepted by Alaska Air National Guard fighter planes. A few days after the invasion began, American National Guard units backed by Canadian forces have pushed Soviet troops away from the Clear Air Force Base, which houses one of the United States ballistic missile early warning systems. Across the country, protests have erupted as millions plead for a ceasefire, while the world watches Germany, now a radioactive battlefield, spiraling further into chaos. Several cities across the United States have now begun issuing evacuation orders. This began following the emergency in Alaska, and now other major cities across the continental U.S. are following suit, with Chicago being the latest. While New York City is not currently under an evacuation order, WNBC will report immediately if that changes, and residents will receive instructions through the emergency broadcast system. WNBC 4 will continue to monitor... Wait. What is that? Do you guys hear that? What? Oh no, they've done it. They finally fucked...
We interrupt our programming. This is a national emergency. Important instructions will follow. Office of the Federal Emergency Management Agency has issued the following message. This is an attack warning. Repeat, this is an attack warning. An attack warning indicates that an actual attack against this country has been detected, and that protective action must be taken immediately. This message has been issued at the request of the North American Aerospace Defense Command. NORAD has detected several hundred Soviet intercontinental ballistic missiles, believed to be nuclear-armed, currently inbound toward North America, including the continental United States. Due to the number of incoming warheads, it is currently impossible to determine exact targets. Therefore, all citizens are strongly urged to seek a fallout shelter immediately. If a fallout shelter is not available, go to a basement or the most interior room of a sturdy building. If you are driving, pull over immediately and seek shelter in the nearest structure. If no shelter is nearby, lie flat in the lowest ground possible, cover your head, and wait for the initial blast to pass. Once the shock wave has cleared, remain indoors. Protect yourself from radioactive fallout by sealing all windows and doors. Stay inside until emergency authorities provide further instructions. The United States and its NATO allies have launched retaliatory strikes. The Stradiphony missile defense system is currently active in attempting to intercept incoming warheads. Once the immediate crisis has ended, the President will address the nation on all radio and television stations. Repeating, this is an attack warning. Several hundred Soviet nuclear missiles are inbound. This is not a test. Seek shelter now. The President will be speaking on all stations shortly. Stand by for this message. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast stations and cable systems shall transmit this emergency action notification message number 2, red card. This station has interrupted its regular programming at the request of the United States government to participate in the emergency broadcast system. During this national emergency, some stations will remain on the air to furnish news and information to the general public in assigned areas. This is WNBC. We will continue to serve the New York City area. If you are not in this local area, you should tune to stations providing information for your area. Do not use the telephone. Telephone lines should be kept open for emergency use. The emergency broadcast system has been activated to keep you informed. This is an emergency action notification.